This is 7th Circle Gaming, still the last channel on YouTube to get a title card. It's not animated yet, but if this channel really takes off, we'll consider getting one eventually. Today we're going to analyze, as the title of the video says, the game Distant Worlds 2. We'll get into the analysis in just a moment, but of course we are going to start off with the full disclosure. And you're welcome to read through all of this if you like, just pause the video. But if reading isn't really your thing, just let the video run. As soon as the player starts a new game, it's obvious that we're going to be inhabiting a science fiction universe. There's starships, space stations, and colony worlds, in addition to space combat for players to get engaged with. Well, that just about covers it for the setting of Distant Worlds, so let's now move on to the user interface. The user interface, or UI, for this particular game needs to communicate a lot of information to the player. Appropriately then, it is all over the place. It doesn't restrict itself to just the edges of the screen. There's menus within menus within menus and icons all over the place that players are going to need to click on and be attentive to. However, based on our evaluation sessions, the primary menus seem to be at the top left-hand corner, the top right-hand corner, the bottom left, and the bottom right corners of the screen. At the top left-hand corner, we have our faction overview menu. At the top right-hand corner, we have the time management menu, as well as a bunch of overlays that players can experiment with. At the bottom left-hand corner of our screen, we have the build menu. At the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is the system menu. As we watch this last bit of gameplay footage, we'd like to draw your attention to two items in particular. First is the amount of information available to players on the screen. Second, we'd like to draw your attention to the game's art style and its presentation. What we're looking at here is a seemingly realistically rendered planet with a bunch of rings around it. We will come back to it a bit later, but we would also suggest paying attention to, or making note of, the size comparison between the starship that we're going to examine and the size of the planet. No game of this type could go without having a research tree, so let's take a brief look at the research tree in Distant Worlds 2. This is seemingly not faction specific, although there are bonuses that players can unlock by selecting particular options during the game setup. For immersion, Distant Worlds 2 has earned a score of 7 out of 15, just below what we here would consider average. The top 4 items that the game uses to create immersion are presentation, challenge, statistics focus, and player agency, which is to say it provides players with a sense of ownership over their faction. As we can see from this new game setup screen, Distant Worlds 2 provides the player with multiple options to customize the game to their desires. For difficulty, the game has earned a score of 5 out of 15. The short and sweet answer to why it has earned a 5 out of 15 is it provides players with a lot of options without a lot of explanation. As of recording of this video, Distant Worlds 2 has earned a score of 7 out of 15 for lasting appeal, although the game is actively under development and new features seem to be added on a regular basis. So easily, given another 6 months of development time, we could see that increase to a 8 or even a 9 out of 15. In its present state, the overall score for Distant Worlds 2 is 6.3 out of 15. And that's all the objectivity for this video, so let's get out the salt and get subjective. At the moment, the mods cupboard is extremely bare. There's no Star Trek, Star Wars, or Warhammer 40k mods. The species that players can pick from to start a new game are pretty few and far between. We don't have the usual grey aliens, bird-like humanoids, space elves, or the evil humans that we expect to see in this sort of game. One thing that particularly impressed us about Distant Worlds 2 is how the game attempts to accurately portray the size of space, planets, and starships. So for players that are looking for a game that accurately depicts the size of galaxies and the universe, Distant Worlds 2 certainly ticks that box. But now let's address the elephant in the room, the stability of the game. Now, if you've been following our videos for any amount of time, you know that we typically don't address errors in our videos because it can be very difficult indeed to determine the root cause of an error. Well, ultimately, we were able to determine that one common error is the result of hardware interactions. We cannot say that all of the errors were not the result of the software itself, and for that reason we do recommend that if players purchase this game, that they spend some time in the settings menu configuring the game to fit their particular system, and do realize that setting all of these settings to their maximum may not provide the most stable experience. Of course, no one comes to game reviews for this sort of in-depth discussion. What you're looking for is a purchase recommendation and a yes or no. To that end, we're going to say that for players that are really interested in a hard science fiction experience, Distant Worlds 2 may scratch that itch, but we wouldn't necessarily suggest purchasing it for full price. And on that final note, we congratulate heartily everyone who watched all the way to the end of the video. You're cordially invited to share your opinions with us in the comments section below. You're also welcome to leave a like on the video if you feel it's deserved it. For more of these highly objective analyses, go ahead and click subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. From 7th Circle Gaming, goodbye.